You don't know.
Hey YouTube fam, it's your girl Leah back again with another video. In today's video, as you can see from the title and the huge smile on my face, it is my 5-year YouTube anniversary. Well, not exactly today. My 5-year YouTube anniversary was July 25th. As you're seeing, this is a couple of days after. I probably on my actual anniversary day will be somewhere enjoying myself if all goes right on a trip to California. However, as you're seeing this video, it marks 5 years that I have been creating content on this platform. My first ever video that I ever recorded, ever uploaded was uploaded on July 24th, 2016, so 5 years ago. Well, I got comments before where it's like, I've been rocking with you for the last 6 years, and I was like, Leah Levon wasn't even a thought in my mind. I didn't even know what crochet hair was 6 years ago. So I love the zealousness. I love that you've been here for me even before I was even a creator. I didn't even exist. I hadn't even turned on a camera nor filmed a video, but it has only been 5 years only, or, it feels like forever to me, but 5 years that I've been on this platform. I also want to celebrate. I got a little package beside me. Let me lift up said package. I got a little package from YouTube. Let me turn it around. If I can turn it around without showing my address, I got a package from YouTube. That's right. When you hit 100,000 subscribers, which I have. I did hit 100,000 subscribers, not on my 5-year anniversary here in July, but I did hit it, I believe, back in March. I had 100,000 subscribers. YouTube sends you a little plackety plack plack. I haven't displayed it yet. I wanted to wait until after my 5-year to actually start displaying it. So you guys are going to start seeing this in my videos, but to take it out for you guys on camera, this is what my plaque looks like. This is, oh, you guys can see yourself. I didn't realize it was so reflective. This is the plaque, and this is what it says. It says, presented to Leah Levon for passing 100,000 subscribers. For some reason, I always thought it was going to be much bigger than it was. When I got it, I was like, I thought it was like huge. It looks so big in other creators' videos, but nonetheless, I'm so proud of this, and it is only because of you guys' continued support, 5 years of support of me. When I turned on this camera, no, I did not think that I was going to be still here 5 years later. I thought I was just letting people know, putting the streets on game to crochet hair, and now I get to do this for fun for the last 5 years. It's been an exciting ride. It's been an amazing ride. And in today's video, I'm going to be letting the newbies in, because July 24, 2016, I had 0. There was no subscribers. Nobody had joined me, but now we have 100,000 of you guys. And 100,000 of you guys may not know a lot about me. So today's video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram and on YouTube to ask me some questions, and you guys did. You guys showed up, and you guys asked me some pretty good questions. I printed them all out, so I have all the questions here for you guys. So I'm going to just jump in with the questions, and I hope to get through as many as I possibly can in this video. We're celebrating 5 years. Get your wine glasses together. We're going to be answering some of these questions. So Angie asked, are you Caribbean? If so, which island? I am not Caribbean. I do want to take an ancestry DNA test to figure out specifically my backstory, but as I currently stand, I do not think I have any roots from the Caribbean distinctly, but I can trace my roots back at least until I say about 1860 I think is where I can start tracing things, and then before that it gets a little bit murky. I'm not, Alex Haley with, the whole root saga. I can't go back that far, but I can go back to maybe 1860. I want to do an ancestry DNA soon, though, just so I can track percentages and all that. I am not Caribbean, so I don't know which island. Do I sound like it in any capacity? Well, I'm starting to feel like, what gave the vibe? Is it the hair? Is the hair synthetic, y'all? Is it giving me an island-y vibe? So no, that is not the case. How do you take care of your hair between crochets? I do different styles in between. I do, this being the summertime, wash and goes. I did a wash and go in between a style. I didn't film it because I was just doing, again, not everything I do in between is always filmed. I did a lot of wash and go videos. I did a lot of wash and go videos last year, and I did nothing new in the new video, so I didn't film that wash and go in the winter time when I'm able to let my hair be out and free in its blowed out state. I did a couple of blowouts. I do always go to my stylist. I always talk about on this channel. Tony, shout out to you. I'm a big proponent of, even if you do DIY your own hair, it's important to have a stylist in your life to kind of hone things in. I did not go to cosmetology school. I do not have a license, so I am not well versed versed in the matter of hair care and all that, I do relegate myself to a higher authority in that account. So I do try to go to her at least once a quarter, although I feel like I've been going every 3 months more recently to get my treatments and all of that. But it's typically wash and goes in between, maybe a wig or so in between a style. Now, the next question is, what drove you to start a YouTube channel? Love that question. What drove me to start it was, one, crochet hair. Crochet hair is definitely a big part. I always delegate it into 3 sections, what made me start my YouTube channel. One is crochet hair. I literally was going on a cruise in August of 2016, so the month after I started my channel, and I needed a style that was going to last. I needed a style that was going to look good while I was on my trips, and I just knew sew-ins was not going to be that. I was a sew-in girl before 2016, 2015, all that. I was just a sew-in girl, didn't know nothing different. That's all I was about. But then my best friend Sasha had the Bohemian Curl in on a trip, and I was like, girl, I'm loving that. I don't know what that is, but I'm loving it. She was like, crochet hair. She was like, let me get Janiqua to do your hair. Janiqua is her cousin. My cousin by default, because we family in that sense. But she did my first ever style, which was that free trust deep twist, which I came on that camera on July 24th, 2016 to present to you guys, because I was like, the streets don't know about crochet hair. This is something new. No one knows about this. However, everybody knew about it. Y'all, everybody knew about it. Only I was the one who was behind on the time. So I put that hair in, and it was all she wrote after that. I didn't know that I would be wearing crochet hair for 5 years. I probably thought that I would be doing crochet hair and then going back to sew-ins, because that's what I did for 2 years before that. I never would have thought that would be my whole essence, would be crochet hair all the time, 365. It is who I am now. So that was one big thing. Two, I was getting out of a situationship. And I was in my 20s, and a lot of my dating had been, in high school and then in college, and then post-college I got into this realm, and I was talking to this guy for so long, and it was just doing robotic things. It's just very much so nature. It was like, I'm always with you. I'm always around you. I'm always talking to you. But it was at that point I realized, I need to get on up out of this. But I don't have anything to occupy my time. So it was like, prior to my channel, it was like, well, why not? Why leave the situation? I go out to brunch with this dude. I'm hanging out with this dude all the time. I talk to this dude. What would I do without talking to this dude? To just sit in my room with I had a dog at that time, Fluffy. Me and Fluffy supposed to just chill all the time. I don't have any hobbies. I ain't had no hobbies. So I started this channel. And then I continued with this channel because it started replacing the time and effort that I spent into this dude. And to the point where finally he reached out and was like, you won't be talking to me no more. And I'm like, yeah, we don't need to talk no more. I'm busy. I'm booked and busy. I have editing to do. I have filming to do. So that's what kind of drove my continued, putting all the effort that I did into my channel. Because I was releasing 3 videos a week because I was able to say, okay, I would stay up typically from 6 to 9 and talk to you on the phone or hang out with you or go out for drinks and go out for this. But no, I'm not doing that no more. I'm editing videos. I'm editing content. So this channel really helped drive me and pull me out of a situation that I had been in for 5 years that I needed to get on out of. It was not leading to, dun, 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 dun. We wasn't leading to the owl. So I had to yank myself out of that. So this channel was very much so driven by a power of getting the heck out of a situation I needed to be out of. And then 3, I definitely always put it on Sasha, my best friend. Even though her having crochet hair drove me to try crochet hair, she was always a big proponent of, you have a personality for YouTube, do it. And I was always like, she's probably said this since I was in college, because I've loved YouTube. Even on my channel, it says YouTube channel started in 2008. That's when I started watching YouTube. So I created this account to be able to comment on videos, have subscriptions back in 2008 when I first met Sasha. We were in college and we watched YouTube videos together all the time. And she was like, you could do this. And I was like, but what would I talk about? And it wasn't until 2016 when I had something to talk about that drove me to turn on the camera and start recording. So feels like a long spiel, but it is overall what drove me to do YouTube. What is the best part of living in Charlotte? I'd say for me, probably personal to me, is my family super close. So being close to my family and still being in an urban region. My family doesn't specifically live in Charlotte, but they live close enough to me where it's only a 45-minute drive for me to get to them. I feel like if they lived in middle of nowhere, Alabama or Mississippi, I'd probably be more driven to go somewhere else. But the fact that I still get to live in a very urban metropolitan area that is only 2 hours away from the mountains, which is my favorite. I love the mountains. I love being super close to the mountains, but I also like that we are about 3 hours from Myrtle Beach. North Carolina beaches are further from me here in Charlotte. It would probably take me about 4.5 to 5 hours to get to like Wilmington or something of that sort. But South Carolina beaches surprisingly are closer to Charlotte, and it's 3 hours away. So I'm close to beaches and mountains, the best of both worlds. I'm in a metropolitan area that's very much so more aligned with my views. Like, I feel like being from a smaller town, it was very conservative, very much so not very progressive at all. Being a part of Charlotte is a lot more progressive than being from where I'm from. I love the career opportunities that are here. I think there's a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are here. A lot of companies are building out here, growing out here. I think in certain areas and certain spaces, it's great to raise a family when that time comes. So, I mean, there's so many great parts about living in Charlotte. I love being here in the Queen City. I remember you were doing a weight gain journey long ago. What were your thoughts now? So if you follow me from the beginning, again, a lot of you guys came to me for many different reasons and found me many different ways. But my early days, you can't find those videos now. I'll tell you why in a second. But I was doing a weight gain journey. And it was only because I've always been very thin all my life. Very, very thin. And I think probably more so in our community, especially in now times, you know, a more shapely figure is what's more publicized. It's what's more marketable. It's what's in these streets a lot more than, you know, stick thin. Maybe if I grew up in the 20s and 30s, this will be a different outlook. But I'm in the now times, and now it's the shapely bodies, it's, you know, the curves, all that gets the attention. And I've always struggled with wanting the curves. Who doesn't want the curves? So on this channel, while amongst doing crochet hair content, I will throw in a couple of weight gain journey videos. And I did gain some weight. I gained some weight, but not in the places where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to my chest, which has always been big, so it just wanted to feed more into my chest and more into my stomach. My butt, I guess, got a wee bit bigger just by happenstance, but I realized you gotta actually work out. You can't just eat junk food. And I think around that time, too, I just decided I'm going to embrace my body the way it is. I'm going to accept my body for the way it is, how I was made. This is how the Lord wanted me to be made. I'm going to love it and feel confident in it. Do I wish my butt was bigger? Absolutely, every single day. Never gonna go away from that. Am I gonna get a BBL? Absolutely not. Do I see all these women on this platform getting these BBLs? Yes. And I'm always questioning, where's the money coming from? Where's the coinage? I need to understand that. But I took all those videos down. You might be like, where are those videos? I don't know what you're referring to, Leah. Were you ashamed? No, I would still have those videos up if I could. About 4 or 5 months ago, YouTube started cracking down on videos where you mention the word epitomen, or not really mention the word. I can say the word epitomen, but you had links in your videos and you talk about where to buy it. Now, today, that supplement is outlawed. You cannot legally buy it here in the U.S. at this point. But back then, I bought it regularly. And I saw Funky Dineva, he's a big YouTuber here on this platform. His channel got taken down. I'll link his video up above where he talks about it. It was because he, I guess, a long time ago was on a weight gain journey too. And he talked about the product and where to buy it in one of his videos 6 years ago. And now in 2021, they decided to crack down and take down his video. And they didn't just take down his video. They took down his channel. They removed his whole channel without warning, without anything. They said because of you mentioned this product, they stripped his whole channel. It was gone. Bye-bye. I remember the day it happened. I YouTube searched Funky Dineva. He didn't come up no more. He was gone. And I had seen it happen to another creator too, who was in a group chat with me. We have a wig group chat. She was in a group chat and she said her channel got sucked away too. Now, luckily, YouTube hadn't found me. So I just went and privated all those videos because I was like, I'm not about to get taken down over the mention of epitomen. Now, epitomen, again, at the time, back in those days, you could buy it legally. Right now, it's outlawed. It's not anything majorly bad. It's just an appetite increaser. They give it to a lot of people who suffer from eating disorders just because they need to eat more. They have to gain an appetite. The people who are typically have a high metabolism like me, we eat enough to sustain us, but we don't eat enough to gain. So for us, it was helping us gain a wee bit. So yes, that was where I am. That is where I am with my weight gain journey. I'm accepting my body the way it is. I am, still praying for that bigger booty, but it'll come if it comes. My next question. I got this question several different times in several different ways. So I'll ask this right now. My girl Rogina asked this question, but don't worry. A lot of other people asked it too. How are things going with your boo? I got it in many different ways. I got how's dating going. Give us a dating update. If you follow me I think on here I've talked about it. I think on Instagram I've talked about it too. This year I wanted to be intentional about dating. I say that every year, but this year specifically I wanted to not just wait for Mr. Right to knock on the door and come grab me or whatever he was going to do. I decided to join dating apps. So I got on dating apps. I went on a few dates, quite a few dates. And one young gentleman made it all the way to like date 16. We went on like, not 16, maybe 14 or so. We went on quite a few dates. We went to a terrarium. We built that terrarium that's in my background now. We had fun on-set dates. However, we're not currently dating anymore, just because I feel like it was 14 dates and you feel like you're just dating and dating and dating. I wasn't feeling that connection really, and I just didn't want to go for 25 dates, 26 dates, going on dates after dates after dates. And I feel like, it's not always love at first sight, but it's also, you should feel a little bit more something by date 14, and I just wasn't there. And I was like, I don't want to keep wasting somebody's time if I'm not feeling it at date 14. So great guy, fun times, but it just wasn't romantically there. It might have been friendship there. I kept seeing like, oh my God, this would be a cool friend, because this could be my husband, this could be the father of my child, because this could be somebody I build with. It wasn't there in that capacity. So unfortunately, that is no longer a thing. However, I am very grateful for the dating process. I've never dated in the way that I dated in the last few months. I have taken a pause on it. I've taken a pause because I'm having a travel girl summer. Not a hot girl summer, a travel girl summer. So I got a lot of places I want to see, a lot of places I want to visit. So I put a pause on actively pursuing, actively dating just for the summer, just to kind of get through the summer. However, I'm always open if somebody just, randomly comes and we randomly go on dates. I'm always hoping for that. But I paused my accounts on Hinge and Bumble and everywhere I was. I definitely would say, though, I'm thankful for the experiences. I had some amazing dates. Like, I was very skeptical. I said in my living in Charlotte video about the dating market and how it's very not good here. It's not very good here. And I got a comment from a young lady who was like, well, I've only been here for 5 days, or whenever she gave a date. I moved here January something, and I went on 2 dates already. And I was like, good for you, girl, but that's not everybody's experiences. And then I was like, hold on, wait, Leah, what have you even done, girl? I'm sorry to that young lady, because I was giving sass when I should not have been giving no sass, honey. When I actively dated, it was like they weren't bad people. I think every date that I went on, it was tailoring my mind into helping me formulate what I was looking for. Because I think when I went into dating, I understood modern dating, and it's so different than it was back in the old days. It's so different than traditional dating. I'll do a whole video if you guys want me to on like the videos I've watched and everything that's helped me formulate my modern dating mindset, but I didn't necessarily have the list. I've always been oh, I'm not like most girls. I don't have this whole long list of what guys have to have for me. I'm very much so open. And then I went on these dates and I realized there are certain things that should be on a list, though. Like, you don't just say, oh, I'm just looking for anything. No, there should be a little bit of honing in, because there were, as I was going on these dates, like, oh, this is a great guy, but this, and this, or our family values aren't really aligned. Like, good guy, but culturally we're really different. And I can see that we would rear children in a completely different way, which the way you're thinking, probably right for somebody else, not right for me. So I really appreciated the process. I didn't meet any crazies. Everything was very much so done with a baby's glove away, a distance. Nobody showed up to my house, although date 14 guy did show up to my house. But, by date 7, I thought it was, appropriate that he could know where I live. So again, I learned a lot from the dating process, and I am definitely probably going to jump back in actively in October if nothing happens in between now. I'm more open. My DMs are open. My heart is open. So if anybody fell into it, but I do realize there's going to be an element of me having to be active about it, more so than just being sedentary, sitting and just he's gonna come. I know he's gonna come. I have to do nothing and he's just gonna fall through. No, I know I'm gonna have to be a little bit more active in that capacity. So that is how boo things are going. My next question: will you try different colors? Purples, blues, reds, grays? Probably not. It has nothing to do with the fact that I work in corporate America. I work in corporate America 9 to 5. You guys know I have one where I'm in the office. I'm high visibility to externals and internal clients. So I'm in an HR role and I'm recruiting specifically, and I recruit and I go places like to schools and stuff. So I'm very visible. Like, I am the face. A lot of people say this at work, you are the face of the company externally to a lot of people. A lot of people see you externally. So it's not because of that, because I feel like, would I go on the road with purple hair? Probably not. Even professionally, I personally wouldn't, but I know there's people in the professional world who could probably get away with that. Me personally, I don't think I could, especially for my company, and I don't even think I would want to. It's just not something that appeals to me. So I think purples, blues, reds, grays, all these, like gray is a natural hair, so I'm not going to put grays in the category because people have gray hair, but the purples and the reds and the blues that are like, when I'm thinking of reds, I'm not thinking of like the demure reds, like the reds, I colored my hair in high school. I'm thinking like Ronald McDonald red when I think of that. When I think of blue, I'm thinking City Girls blue. I'm thinking, Cardi B blue. I'm thinking the blue. I'm thinking of the purples. I'm thinking of the, purples. I wouldn't do that. Not because of the messaging, I guess, it sends out. I think a lot of people say, oh, well, that's seen as ghetto, or not because of any of that. It's just not my personal vibe. My personal vibe is definitely a little bit more natural. If I did a purple or red, I would feel out of my element. I even felt out of my element with that colored hair. You guys know that Femme Freak hair that I tried that was just like a black, a golden color, and then had the golden tips, the 613 platinum tips. I felt uncomfortable with that hair, and that was like not that crazy. So I think going to those other elements, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. That's just not my bag. I got this question twice in 2 different ways, so I'll answer it here. Will you go back to some of the tried and true beauty supply store hair? I know she means tried and true. And then I got this question: are you planning on trying any more non-black owned crochet hair in the future? So if you've been following my channel, a year ago, this time last year specifically, I said it's going to be only black owned or black supported over here on this channel. When I say black owned, that's pretty straightforward. It's owned by a black person. And when it's black supported, it's a little bit more vague. And that was brands that supported our community. That was brands that have people who look like me working at them. And a lot of brands don't have us working there. Shake and Go, which owns Free Tress, is not owned by a black person, and it's primarily Asian run, which I have no problem with that. I hope last year it didn't come off as I hate these companies because they're not black owned. No, they build a brand. They build a brand that sells primarily to our community. Good for you. Good for you. Outre, which is pronounced Outre, but we call it Outre, but the community over there calls it Outre. Sensational. All these brands founded by members of the Asian community, their CEOs, their CFOs, they own those companies, and good for them. They were able to carve out a lane, and they were able to sell to people who primarily look like me. Probably about 97 of their consumer base looks like me. The only issue was I just wish there were more of us, one, who worked there, and 2, even though these companies are Asian owned, can you allow black owned beauty supply stores to actually carry the product? Last year, I was exposed to, up under a Free Tress post, a lot of people had complained. They were black owned beauty supply stores, and they said, hey, look, Free Tress won't put themselves in our stores. Free Tress put out a statement with George Floyd and was like, hey, we stand behind the black community. And a lot of black owned beauty supply stores were like, BS, because you won't allow us to open accounts. You won't give us accounts. You set arbitrary minimums and say these numbers, and you won't let us, people, hey, we look like this. We're your consumer base. You're selling to people who look like us. I own a store that sells to people who look like us. Why can't I hold your product? Why can't I have your product? Because people know Free Tress. People walk into a beauty supply store and they don't see Free Tress on the shelves. They don't see Outre. They don't see any kind of other thing. They walk out of the store because they're name brands. There's things they attribute it to, and they don't know the story behind that store couldn't get an account, that they tried hard to get a Free Tress account. They just couldn't. And now they lost your business, and you're going to go down to the street and go to the Korean owned or Asian owned beauty supply store just because they have it. They were able to obtain the account. So it's really the fact that these companies, Asian owned, no problem with them being Asian owned. We're just not allowing us to succeed when you make money off of the backs of us. We are $1 billion industry, and you won't let us enter. So at that point, I was just like, I do YouTube for fun. This is not my full-time income. I have a full-time job, but I want to make sure that my channel is still uplifting those who uplift us. And so that was very much so important in my decision. There are many creators here on YouTube. There are tons who review the free dresses, the sensationals, the outrays. There's enough people pushing business, pushing dollars to these companies. I'm just one person. And if I can use my one voice, my 100,000 of you guys to push you behind things you might not be aware of, then that's what I'm going to do. Again, not fully reliant on this income. Now, if this was my full-time job, I get it. I have to do what I got to do. This is not the hill you want to die on when your money is attached to this. But last year when I made this decision, I was nervous. You know, your dollars might change a wee bit when you start promoting only certain brands. I asked God just to make sure I was on the right path, guide me, make sure order my steps, show me signs that I'm on the right path. So I do my financial videos every month. So if you watch my financial videos, you know how much I make most months from YouTube. But this past month from YouTube, I'm just going to pull it up right now and screenshot and share with you. This is only my AdSense. This is not including anything else. I'm counting June. As you're watching this video, it's July. So I'm going to count my June. And this is how much hit my bank account. No tax, no anything. This is what's deposited in my checking account. It will be $3,711.55. Again, off the strength of me uplifting Black owned and Black supported brands. That's what's been given back to me. I buy most of these things with my own money. So I spend quite a bit for this channel. So that not all that $3,700 is going, directly into yay, fun times. It's me investing in my channel because companies don't send me stuff like they might send other creators things. And that's totally fine. I'm perfectly fine in presenting what I present and getting out of it what I get out of it. So I think right now I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable continuing on the path that I am with. We're only showing Black owned, Black supported brands on this channel. I love Roster Free. You guys know that's not a Black owned business, but they do uplift us in a way that no other company does. They wished us a happy Juneteenth. Not a single soul said nothing on Juneteenth, and which is fine because none of these brands say Merry Christmas, Happy, 4th of July. None of them say any of the other holidays, so I get it. It's fine. But Juneteenth was a Saturday this year. They went out of their way on a Saturday to post in their stories and to post uplifting Juneteenth content. That's what I mean by supporting us. That's exactly what I mean. So I have no intent on going back to non-Black owned or non-Black support. It's hard to say that they don't support us because I'm sure there's, Black people who do work at some of these companies. But for me and my channel, I don't foresee me going back anytime soon to trying non-Black owned. It's going well for me, bringing exposure to brands that might not have gotten the exposure anyways. I'm bringing you brands who you don't see a lot of videos on YouTube for. You didn't see a lot of Roster Free videos. You might see a few, but you see more free tracks videos. You see more sensational Jamaican bounce videos. You don't see some of the stuff I'm showing you. So I'm cool with being a niche thing. Again, not everybody has to subscribe to me. There are plenty of other content creators who do all the other stuff. No future plans for that as of yet. Now, switching gears over to some of my YouTube questions. Do you plan on getting Winnie a brother or sister? Y'all got to talk me out of that because I'm definitely thinking about getting little Win a little sister. I am definitely thinking about that, thinking about it hard. The only thing that's stopping me is the fact that I know eventually I have to go back into the office, and I know she would be here by her little lonesome, and her and Winnie and her little sister would be here by her lonesome, but it's burning a hole in me not getting her a sister or brother. So just know, I am thinking about it. You seem to always do big curly hair. Do you ever do straight crochet hair, or why or why not? I've talked about this on my channel before again, but I know people find me at different points, so it's totally fine. I'm not a big fan of straight crochet hair, honestly. I really am not. If I'm going to do some straight hair, I just prefer it be human at this point. Curly hair just lasts longer. It just has a longer shelf life. It just does better. I have reviewed one hair on this channel, and that Outre Dominican straight hair just didn't do it for me. It's not to say I won't try it again in the future. It's just that synthetic hair in this straight format just tangles much more faster, it gets matted much more faster, it gets tangly. You do have to stay on top of it. It is very higher maintenance, and curly hair it doesn't have the same level of maintenance. There is a level of maintenance, but it's nothing like that straight crochet hair. So I will review it for you, but my preference will always be curlier hair. I will try to get to more into waves, but I think straight hair will never be my bread and butter. It will never be what writes the ticket for me, because synthetic straight hair just always, That's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. What advice would you give someone that wants to start on YouTube? I definitely would say you got to keep with it. You have to stay consistent with it. A lot of people think you're going to hit 100,000 immediately, almost immediately, and that's not how it happens. You don't get monetized immediately. Now, when I started, you did get monetized immediately. I started 5 years ago. They started that whole 1,000 subscriber, 4,000 watch hours after I had kind of been in it for at least, I think, 10 months maybe, and at that point I had kind of surpassed both those benchmarks. So no issue for me in that regard when I first started, but you have got to be consistent. My biggest pet peeve is when somebody comes up to me in real life, somebody who knows me, knows I have a YouTube, and say, hey, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Can you sit down with me and talk to me about it and talk me through it? I've done that 2 times. Both times, sat down, had 2-hour conversations with these people. They started a YouTube channel, filmed and uploaded about 4 or 5 videos and quit. Both times that happened. And at this point, I say in my real life, I'm not sitting down with people no more. I'm not giving you 2-hour dissertations. I'm not doing that until you've been consistently on YouTube for 3 months. And probably should go up to 6 months. And you've been posting every single week at that point. Then I might have a conversation with you. But what I see happen so many times is they do it for a week or two, do it for a month or two, doesn't pan out the way they want to, and quit. And that's with anything. That's not just with starting YouTube channel. I've seen people start podcasts. I've seen people start, blogs. I've seen people start everything, do it 3 or 4 times and quit and give it up. And it's just like, how did you think? What did you think was happening? Did you think it was overnight success? People meet me now, Leah Levon now, and don't know Leah Levon in 2016 when I didn't have anything, but they see me now and they say, oh, it must be easy. It must be easy. She has a plaque. It must be easy. No, 5 years it took me to even get this plaque. There are people who get it in 5 days. There's people who get it in 10 years. There are people who never get the plaque. But the first thing you have to do is be consistent. You have to put out quality content. We're in 2021. Not quality content isn't going to cut it anymore. Bad thumbnails isn't going to cut it anymore. Being in a darkly lit room, you got to have lighting. Getting away with just, putting out a video. People say, just grab a camera and put out a video. That's not advice anymore. That's not true advice. So you're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have good equipment. You're going to have you don't have to have a schedule. It doesn't hurt to have a schedule. And you're going to have some kind of pull to pull people in. You're going to have to find, mine is niched. Not everybody has to have a niche, but you do need to have an overall sector. It's very hard to just come out the gate, just pulling out lifestyle content out of nowhere when people don't even know you to be invested in your lifestyle. You have to have some kind of draw to draw people in. So, that is my advice for starting a channel. Do you think you will get a breast reduction? That's a good question. I mean, a lot of people be like, oh, that's a weird question. Why wasn't I even asked like that? I'm very vocal with the fact that these things is heavy. And eventually, yes, I think post-kids, I would probably 100% get a breast reduction. I don't think I would do it pre-kids just because with the surgery involved. I don't know how that would affect any future things. I know there's plenty of people who like breastfeed and do everything, post a breast reduction, but they're not at a point where they cause immense pain. At this point, I know as I get older, though, put a little bit more weight on through shoving kids, the people's chests always balloon out of control. But just, post that, I think will be the time when I decide to, finally take these bad boys down at least to like a moderate C cup, not even a double C, just maybe a little C. I don't have to have big boobs. I would have taken an A cup. What a big thing, what a big fatty. That's what I would have taken, but hey, I get it. Boobs are people's things. The back problems is just not, the greatest that come with it. So that has been my Q&A video. I hope you guys get to know me a little bit more. I love bringing you guys in. And that has been my plaque. I'm about to display it. Got to figure out where to display it so the mirror isn't, given what it needs to give. But I'm going to display this somewhere behind me. It'll always stay behind me. I'm thankful for the 100,000 of you guys who have joined me, and we are going to get to, what's my next goal? I stopped making goals for myself now that I've hit 100,000. Like I used to do I'm going to hit 80. I'm going to hit 90. I'm going to hit 100. And then when I hit 100, it's like, what now? What's the journey going to bring? Well, you stay tuned. You stay locked in and you stay subscribed to see what this journey brings. There's going to be more hair content that's never going away. There's going to be more vlog content, more travel vlog content. There's going to be more beauty content. I know I've gotten a little bit away from the beauty, but there'll be some more beauty content coming this way. Make sure you have that notification bell on though, so you don't miss any of this good content that I feel like I produce for you. And make sure that you're following me on Instagram at LeahLevon89 so you can keep up with my shenanigans in real time. And we will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.